Hello everybody. We're going to be starting a new 14-day series called Stepping Through the Fear of the Unknown using breath, movement, and faith. We must remember that, let's start with this. We want to lift our heel. So when we go this way, this heel lifts, this way, this heel lifts, right? Breathing in and out through the nose. Or you can breathe in and out through the mouth, but in through the nose, out through the mouth, or in and out through the nose. We're in a lot of uncertain times right now. The energy of the world is shifting, and it's shifting the people at the same time. And so a lot of relationships are breaking up. People are losing a lot of things. Things are getting more expensive. So through breath, movement, and faith, we'll all get through this, and we'll get through it together. And that's the most important part. It's time to get back to community. And realize we are the power of the entire universe. And part of what's going on in the world around us, as the energy changes, they're becoming more and more attuned, because they feel like they're losing control, which they are, by the way. So they're putting more pressure on us, trying to maintain their control, but it's not going to work. Eventually, it will lift to a certain point, and then it'll collapse, and we'll start over. This has happened in many, many civilizations, because we think we have a better idea, and we don't. Nature is the best part of everything we do. And we've gotten so far away from nature, we're being pulled back into it. Some people are choosing to leave the planet on their own by choice. Let's put it that way. Some are struggling because they don't know what to do, and others, even though they believe they're thriving, are, and I hope they do. I hope they continue to thrive. That's the goal for all of us. But the best thing to do is just stay in touch with nature. You know, and if you can't do this, you know, you have an arm or something that doesn't work, like you could actually do this and just bring this one around. But do the best you can, and eventually this will loosen up. And through the breath work, it will recharge that arm. I've talked about this in other videos. The body is actually 6 batteries, and they're all stacked on top of each other. And it's your ankles, your knees, your hips, shoulders, elbows, wrists. Those are the batteries. Energy has to go through these joints to get to the muscles, to get through this joint, to get through the muscles, to get to the hand. So if any of those are weak, then there is a blockage somewhere here that will keep that from happening, and from wherever that is down, it's weak. So through breath and just gentle movement, that will refire itself. So in this change that we're all going through, we're all stepping into the unknown. And the unknown is a scary place for most people, even if they're not having a good time where they are. You know, if it's a relationship, or your car is always breaking down, or whatever it is for you, whatever is causing that fear, you can gain control over that through your breath, through this gentle movement. In this movement, we generate more energy than we're burning. And as we know, energy creates matter. So if energy is creating matter, all we have to do is change the energy. If there is something the matter with the matter, and it will regenerate itself, it'll correct itself. And that is pretty cool. And it has unlimited potential because we're infinite beings in an infinite universe with infinite potential in a world of abundance. And what we're taught is self-doubt, scarcity, and fear. These are all low oxygen situations. Anger, fear, stress. Okay? Even our body, because we feel heavy, there's so much weight on us, right? And depression that lives in the lungs, the anger in the liver, being ticked off or pissed off is in the kidneys, and fright is in the knees, guilt is in the womb. So all these places, and they all came in through the breath. And the breath is what releases them. And the best way to release them is when we are breathing, like a nice belly breath through the nose. Okay? And when we exhale, we say, any energy that's in my body that does not serve my higher good, my higher purpose in this life, I'm giving my body, or telling my body, to release it. I don't need it anymore. I don't want it anymore. It does not serve me. So I choose to let it go. So we breathe in through the nose, and we exhale. And you want to really emphasize that exhale. And in your mind, you're saying, get out of my body. You do not serve me. You do not serve my higher good, my higher purpose in this life. You are setting a limitation in me that I do not accept or will not accept anymore. So get out of my body. And there is a lot in there, and most of it you've forgotten. So remember that. In through the nose, nice belly breath. What happens when you do a belly breath is you're actually correcting your posture, right? And it's moving your primal brain stem. Shallow breathing does not move the primal brain stem. So you're moving that primal brain stem, and in the back of your head, that expands, and it's moving your cerebellum. And inside that cerebellum is the pineal gland. And the pineal gland has piezo crystals all around it. And what happens is, as that moves, it starts to vibrate those crystals. Now, piezo crystals, we use them all the time. We just don't know we're using them. Every time you turn the gas stove on, it goes tick, 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 and a flame shoots out because there's sparks coming up. That's a piezo crystal. There's a little hammer in there that hits it, and it causes a spark. Well, that's the same thing as your pineal gland is covered with. And as you move, they start to move, and they bang into each other, and they create energy in our body. And that is our infinite frequency, okay? That's sending vibrations through the body, frequencies through the body. And it will go get anything that does not serve you, that's happened to you in your life, and through your breath, you can exhale it out because it went in through your breath, okay? So let's do 5 breaths right now. And anything that does not serve you, and you may cry, you may, one time I almost vomited, releasing energy from my body. And I've been doing this for a long time. I'm still releasing stuff, but I feel so much better, so much lighter, so much more focused. the limitations. It's waking me up, and I'm starting to be the observer in the world so I can see what's happening and what the people around me are saying. I can finally hear it. And if it does not serve me, I have no emotional response to it because they have a right to their opinion. But that's all it is their opinion. And those opinions don't have to match. And as you shift, people will start to disappear. And you go, well, I don't want to lose all my friends. Trust me, the new ones you make will be more of a friend than your old friends ever were. Because we're all culturally programmed to lower our vibration. And that's done through the foods, the teachings, the fear, the self-doubt. And we're afraid to step into the unknown. But many entrepreneurs that we think are great people, like, and you may not feel this way, and I'm not sure I do, but Elon Musk and when you just look at their success, I guess that's the way to look at it. Richard Branson, Ted Turner, and I'm not a fan of a lot of these people, but when you look at what they're doing, people told Ted Turner, 24-hour news, are you crazy? He did it anyway, and he became a multi-billionaire because of it. On a smaller scale, take Jesse James, the guy who did West Coast Choppers. Well, Walmart got in touch with him, and they wanted him to produce t-shirts that said West Coast Choppers on it. And he didn't know if he should do it. And everybody told him not to get involved with Walmart. And the only one that told him to do it was Kid Rock. He said, you have to do it, man, you have to do it. This is an opportunity of a lifetime. So he financed everything he owned to get enough money to produce the t-shirts. He made $600 million profit in 30 days. And everybody told him not to do it. It's like breathing. People are afraid of breath. Well, we don't need to be afraid of breath. We breathe all the time. 70% of our detox is through our breath. If you're breathing properly. And if you're shallow breathing, that's not so true. That's, it's you're keeping the toxins in your body that are causing fear, that are causing your limitations. And we learn those from the people around us. So to break free of that, many of our friends, as we elevate, will just go away because they need to control you. And when they can't control you anymore, they'll move off someplace else. And so many people are going through that right now. They feel like they're out of control because they're not in touch with their breath. They don't believe in the possibilities that are waiting for them. But we live in a world of abundance. It's all there waiting for us. And great entrepreneurs or writers who write great stories, or anybody who uses their imagination, right? Let's say they're in charge of their life, or at least they're in charge of their writing, their creativity, their possibilities of writing the next book, or telling the next story, or filming the next movie. It takes a lot, and it takes a lot of courage to do that. You're putting your life on the line, because if your movie fails, well, chances are they're not going to have you in those movies anymore. And you hear actors talking all the time, or singers. Someday I'm not going to be relevant, and they're going to call me and say it's over. Well, they have to figure out what they're going to do next, or and that's the fear. It's the fear of living it and the fear of the unknown after it. So if you do this simple move 5 minutes a day, all your aches and pains will go away. 10, 15, 20 minutes a day, I don't care what's wrong with you, it will vanish because you're doing two things. You're moving the lymph and you're moving the blood. Blood is the kitchen. It's feeding your cells oxygen, hydration, and nutrition. But it has to be able to get to the cell. And to get to the cell, you need a clean lymphatic system, because that's the bathroom of the body. So if you think of it like the toilet in your house, and it gets plugged, and it starts backing up into the house, what happens? It stinks. And it's going to stay that way till you fix what's wrong with the toilet or the septic tank or whatever it is, right? So each lymph node is like a septic tank. This is all teachings that I learned from Dr. Morse. So we have tons of them under our arms, okay? And if they get congested, it backs up in the house. And this is all acids, toxins, right? And they start burning the cells. Well, what happens when they burn the cells? You get dis-ease in your body, and it can turn into a tumor. And you have things like breast cancer and lung cancer, and you can have bone cancer. I mean, it's amazing. And all you have to do is learn how to clean that out through your breathing. The lymphatic system is manual. See, they're all worried about the heart and the pump and all this stuff. Good thing to worry about, I'm not saying that. But the lymphatic system, if it gets congested, we have a bunch here in our groin. And if it backs up, what happens? No matter if you're a man or a woman, if it backs up in the house, ovarian cancer, uterine cancer, testicular cancer, prostate cancer, or just congestion before the cancer, that it's building up. And all they want to do is surgery. They don't teach you how to clean it out. You know, when you do a belly breath, your head expands, even though you can't feel it. But there's plates in your head, and they expand and contract. And so do your genitals. The whole body expands and contracts with your breath if you're doing belly breathing. But we're taught fear, and fear is fight or flight, and that's usually chest breathing. So we don't want chest breathing, we want belly breathing. Nice, deep, slow belly breathing. We want to generate more energy than the body is burning, and that's what this is doing. It's moving blood, it's moving lymph. The three pumps of the lymphatic system is your diaphragm here, that drops during the belly breath. Okay? It's massaging your intestines, your organs, your glands, and then and the heart is relaxing. And when you exhale, it comes back up and it's helping to pump the blood. It's really the best pump for the heart in the systems. Most people don't believe that the heart is a pump anyway, but that's like splitting hairs as far as I'm concerned. It all works together. And if it doesn't all work together, it causes dis-ease in the body. So we can go down the rabbit hole so far that we forget that even though this half doesn't know this half exists and this half doesn't know this half exists, that's why you can have a life-threatening disease on one side of your body and not the other, or a stroke. I was giving a talk at an MS group meeting, and I met a man there who only had the MS on one side of his body. How do you figure that? Because one side doesn't know the other one exists. That's why you can hit your thumb on one side and the other thumb doesn't hurt. You can have a kidney issue on one side and not the other. Which brings up, where does blood pressure come from? There's a lot of doctors that don't know. It comes from your kidneys and adrenals. The adrenal sits on top of the kidney. It's about the size of your thumb. Your kidney's about the size of your fist. And the adrenal's about the size of your thumb sitting on top. So the kidney is the bottom number. It's the pressure in the body. And the top number is produced by your adrenal. It's energy. There's so many things that once we know and we understand, the fear of moving forward doesn't exist anymore. Because we're working off what we know and not what other people think of us. If we knew how little people thought of us, it wouldn't bother us. They're only thinking of us really when they're in front of us. And it could be sarcasm, to tear you down, to keep you at a certain level. Because if your energy goes too high, they can't be around it. I mean, I've had weird things happen. Like, I was going in a store the other day and this girl I was going out with like this. As she was walking by, I went, what was that about? I don't know, it was energy. I'm not quite sure what it was. But that's her and her limitation. If it even was about me, I could be just taking that on as it was about me. And that happens a lot too. It happens that this is something else you can do. And you know, we're just playing. Put on music, you know, and just move. You know, that's what we're here for. We're here to explore and play. We're not here to suffer and judge. I don't care what people do. I care about people moving forward, teaching Qigong, breath work, helping people get past the limitations in their life, because I have had many, and have some that I haven't even discovered yet. And I never asked what the limitation is. When I do my breath, this belly breath, and I exhale, whatever it is, if it does not serve my higher good, my higher purpose in this world, I release it from my body. Because I don't need it anymore. It did not serve me then, and it doesn't serve me now. So it's time to just let it go. A lot of the stuff we're carrying around it's not even there anymore. That person might have died, but we're still carrying that voice. We're still carrying that limitation, that aggression that was put towards us, so that fear that was put in us, which came through our breath, that frustration, that angst. Let it go. How I let go of the biggest one, well, I think it's the biggest one. School was probably right there with it, but this particular person was, let's just say, not kind. And what I realized was that person was controlling my life. It was they were controlling every decision that I made, unknowing to me that was happening. But once I figured that out, I was like, do I want that person controlling my life? No, I didn't even like them. But they were controlling my life, so through my breath, I let them go. It's a decision, it's a choice, and you get to make it. Okay? Let's do some breaths here. All right? So we're going to start here. We're going to come up. This is the inhale through the nose. And then we exhale, turn our hands down this way, and we go right down through. Is the heart sound. This is what heals the heart. All right? And breathing through the nose creates nitric oxide. And if you're a person who hums a lot, you're creating a lot of nitric oxide. If you do not hum a lot, it might be time to start humming, and when you think of it, you're breathing through your nose, and you're creating nitric oxide, and it helps the heart relax, and it helps keep the arteries and veins, gives them great elasticity so that they can pump, because they do pump. As the heart pushes the blood through, they're pumping to get the blood to keep going. And the same thing on the way back to the heart. So these are things that we can do. Let's do, we'll do 5 of these breaths, okay? Inhale. And when we get up here, you can go up on your toes, or if you can't go up on your toes, just kind of bounce, just a little bit. You want that shock going through your feet, coming up into your bones, because it will help to strengthen your bones. It will help create great red blood cells, which is also, when we breathe, we're breathing into the marrow where the red blood cells are. So we're creating more red blood cells, which carry oxygen through to the cells. All right? Okay, now we're going to do 5, and we're going to go up, and we're going to go out this way, down. All right? So. Two more. And know that it's safe to breathe, and it's going to be okay. You're going to be all right. Think of how many times you've had challenges in your life, and over time, you either met somebody new, or you created a new job, or things happened, and a new story emerged out of that, and you're living hopefully a better life because of that. If not, change your story. In the beginning, there was the Word, and the Word was let there be light, which means words are more powerful than light. And what's between the mind and the heart? The mouth. So through our story and our intention we put on those words, we are creating the light and darkness in our life all by ourselves, because we're influenced by everything around us. So if we change our story, we change our life to the infinite. Our lives are infinitely possible. The universe is reflecting back onto us our words in the intention. So, believe in you. Doesn't matter if anybody else believes in you. But there will be those that do. As your story changes and you start to elevate, the people who are trying to pull you down, once they realize they can't control you, they need that. They'll go someplace else. Or they may come up with you, which would be fantastic. Because we want everybody to elevate. And right now, the frequency of the earth is changing so fast, some people are finding their harmony, and some people are fiercely, I don't know if I want to use the word irritated, but they're uncomfortable with the frequency that's coming into their body. And to me, that's why there's so many wars going on, and the people that are trying to desperately to control everybody around them. They fear the loss of that power. And we see it in governments all around the world. And that is scary because they have the power. But we're not going to get out of here. We're going to shift into a different frequency. Like we're the frequency of, like with me being a male, I have a frequency that can create life. And a woman has a frequency that can create life. So when those two frequencies are combined, they create another life. It's all cells. All right? So orgasm is the sympathetic and the parasympathetic uniting, and we become no one, nowhere, no place, no time. That's all done through breath and motion. And the energy comes down and it comes out. And it can create life. Now a woman, this is how much more powerful women are than us guys. They have 1 egg a month. We have 180 million sperm a day. Okay? So 180 million a day to 1 a month. And hopefully one of those 180 million will ask directions to get through to that egg to create another life. So it's an interesting concept, but it is true. And for people who have high cholesterol, like especially guys, but it's happening to women now because they're getting into, after they go through menopause, their cholesterol will start to go up. So for guys who have high cholesterol, donate blood and it will go down. They're not going to tell you that. They're going to put you on pills made from petroleum. And if anybody knows, we're not supposed to be eating petroleum. We're putting petroleum medicines in our body to regulate our body, and our body is self-regulating. But what's it need to self-regulate? It needs proper hydration, nutrition, oxygen, movement, rest, grounding to the earth, and changing our story from impossible to infinitely possible. And that is how we step through the fear of the unknown. We're creating it. We create the fear of not wanting to step into it. But once we do, we find our way through. So rather than fear stepping into it, step into it knowing that you are the power that can create anything in the universe because you have quantum energy. And it's in your words. Think about the things you've created. And people go, well, I haven't created anything. Well, you created a lot. And it's shifting. And it's time to up our ability to create. So I've probably gone on enough on this particular video. This is day 1 of 14. So I'll be back tomorrow and we'll go through more things to help you step through the fear of the unknown, because that is the big issue around the world right now. Is we don't know where we're going. And we feel like we're behind it, like there's a wall between us and where we're going. Well, that wall is invisible, and we can step through it anytime we want to, simply by changing our mind, opening our heart, which will change our words, and we'll create a whole new life. And we'll create it in the now. It's infinite. The now is infinite. Every frequency is around us. And we can tap into any we want to, but we do it through our breath, through our words, through our actions, our emotions. So I love you guys. Thank you everybody for joining me. I love you guys, and I will see you in the next video. All right? Bye.